Hello again, watch friends. Welcome back. Many men have only a single watch, which they wear continuously. I was one of them. In the 1980s, I wore what I thought was a cool Seiko digital watch. In the 1990s, I wore primarily one of two Seiko quartz pieces, depending upon my attire. I don't think I was alone in that respect. If you're watching this video, you most likely have more than one watch. Some guys change their watch every day. If I did that, it would be quite some time before I had a repeat. However, in the last few months, I followed a new regimen. I pretty much wear one watch for a week at a time, sometimes longer. I find it's a great way to get to know the watch in a variety of settings and with whatever attire I happen to be wearing. Naturally, if I have to run the snowblower or in boutique edition. Instead, I'll throw on a G-Shock for the day. I call this approach week on the wrist. For the last week or so, I've been wearing the Czapek C Quai de Bergues. Czapek C is a brand that was restarted in 2015 and is named for a Polish watchmaker from the early to mid-1800s named Francois Czapek. Back in 1832, Francois started his own watch atelier and in 1839 teamed up with a fellow Polish watchmaker of whom you may have heard, a guy named Antoni Patek. Yes, that Patek. The Patek and Czapek partnership lasted for only 6 years, after which the two watchmakers decided to part company. Antoni Patek eventually partnered with another watchmaker named Jean-Adrien Philippe. In 1851, Francois Czapek started his own brand called Czapek C. Mr. Czapek was quite successful and soon became the watchmaker of Napoleon III. As mentioned, the modern Czapek brand was launched in 2015 via a crowdfunding campaign. Surprising, perhaps, since this approach is more often identified with micro brands. However, this arrangement has a historical precedent. Watchmakers in the 19th century often used this method of bankrolling to pre-finance their watch production. This particular watch, my Ricochet Rainforest Green Quai de Bergues, is named after the street in which Francois Czapek had his workshop in 1845. In addition, as the first wristwatch that the modern Swiss Czapek C introduced in 2015, the Quai de Bergues won the GPHG Public Prize in 2016. Quite impressive for a new brand, given that the Grand Prix Horlogerie de Genève watch entries are quite respected and examples of the best of haute horology. The modern Czapek brand says they wanted to create watches in the spirit of Francois' pocket watches and as if he was designing today. To achieve that end, Czapek chose a collaborative approach. They say they use the best suppliers in the industry, who they actually call partners. One of the partners is Chronode, who makes movements for a number of high-end brands. For this watch, they custom-made a manual wind movement, caliber SHX1, beating at 3 Hz. It has 2 barrel springs, a full week of power, 168 hours, and fine finishing, including beveled edges, blued screws, sandblasted bridges, and a snailed finish on the twin ratchet wheels. The movement is simply beautiful, and the week-long power reserve is quite handy. The dial is, however, what first attracted me to the Quai de Bergues. The hand engine-turned twin guilloche dial, which was inspired by a historical design created by Francois Czapek in the 1850s, is both intricate and engaging. It has an unusual ricochet pattern with 2 central points from which the guilloche pattern originates. Think of tossing 2 pebbles in a pond and watching their individual ripples emanate from the pebbles, and seeing the wave interference of the 2 sets of ripples. Well, that's the Quai de Bergues dial. The other pleasing aspect of the dial corresponds to the movement power. Like the Czapek pocket watch of yore, there are two subdials on the gorgeous K dial, a running seconds at 7:30 and a power reserve / day of the week indicator at 4:30. The power reserve subdial also cleverly tells you the day of the week. This is a charming, if not a little quirky, complication. If you do a full wind of the watch on Sunday, the double-ended hand on the subdial will show you that day of the week and the remaining power as the number of days left. If it's Tuesday and the watch is out of power, for example, you just do a partial wind until the day indicator shows Tuesday. The original Quai de Bergues case measured 42.5 millimeters, whereas my piece, with its rainforest green dial, is 38.5 millimeters in diameter and is limited to only 10 pieces. Other dial colors in the original and smaller versions include aqua blue, royal blue, rosewood, brown midnight black, and a few others. I really enjoyed wearing this watch for the last week or so. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share with your watch friends, and subscribe if you already haven't. Be sure to click the bell so as to be alerted of new content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.